name is Kathy, and today I'll be continuing the discussion on the Bach Flower Essences and their practical use, continuing with their use on ailments. Today we will look at the ailments that these essences can help with, continuing with the letter C ailments. But before I do this, I wanted to let you know that because I have a great many videos now on many different topics, that I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easier to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Compulsions. For compulsive thoughts, use white chestnut. White chestnut helps us when we can't get rid of unwanted thoughts that tyrannize us and make us unable to think clearly. For compulsive thoughts that make us inattentive, use chestnut bud and white chestnut. For being obsessed with love, use chicory and white chestnut. For obsessive dreams of the future, use clematis and white chestnut. For compulsive thoughts of filth, use crabapple and white chestnut. For compulsive thoughts due to vanity, use gentian and white chestnut. For compulsive aggressive thoughts, use holly and white chestnut. For obsessive memories, use honeysuckle and white chestnut. For compulsive thoughts that are filled with fear, use mimulus and white chestnut. For compulsive thoughts that are oriented towards success, use oak and white chestnut. For obsessed perfectionism, use pine and white chestnut. For compulsive thoughts caused by guilt feelings, use pine and white chestnut. For obsessive worried thoughts, use red chestnut and white chestnut. For compulsive traumatic thoughts, use Star of Bethlehem and white chestnut. For obsessive dogmatism, use vine and white chestnut. For compulsive thoughts caused by bitterness, use willow and white chestnut. Concentration. Difficulties with concentration. For difficulties with concentration that affect our ability to learn, use chestnut bud. Chestnut bud improves our ability to learn and awakens our interest in whatever we are studying. Some recommended combinations with white chestnut are scleranthus and chestnut bud, wild oat and chestnut bud, clematis and chestnut bud, honeysuckle and chestnut bud. For difficulties with concentration that are due to strong emotions, use cherry plum. For difficulties with concentration that are due to daydreaming, use clematis and honeysuckle. Clematis improves our concentration when we can't restrain our imagination, and honeysuckle when we are plagued by too many memories. This is often combined with white chestnut. For difficulties with concentration that are due to restlessness and impatience, use impatiens. For difficulties with concentration that are due to depression, use mustard. For difficulties with concentration that are due to distracted behavior, use scleranthus. For difficulties with concentration that are due to a traumatic experience, use Star of Bethlehem. Star of Bethlehem is useful when a mental or emotional trauma or very unfavorable circumstance causes us to lose our inner balance and ability to concentrate. For difficulties with concentration that are due to obsessive thoughts, use white chestnut. White chestnut is appropriate when certain thoughts persistently plague our consciousness, making it impossible for us to concentrate on anything else. Conformity. For excessive conformity as a result of a lack of will, use century. Century reduces a tendency to conform unnecessarily. For insufficient conformity due to feeling rushed, use impatiens. For insufficient conformity due to idealism, use vervain. For insufficient conformity due to stubbornness, use vine. For excessive conformity due to being easily influenced, use walnut. Walnut helps us remain true to ourselves and follow our own paths. Consolation. For the excessive need for consolation, use chicory. The more we depend on other people, the more we need consolation and comfort from them in times of misfortune. It is, to a certain extent, proof that we are not alone. When the need for consolation makes us too weak or makes us a burden on other people, we need chicory. If the source of our pain has been a shocking experience, then combine chicory with Star of Bethlehem. For the rejection of consolation, use water violet. Very independent people often would prefer not to be comforted during a time of misfortune. They would rather get through it alone. This rejection can become so strong that it can create a chasm between us and our sympathetic friends and make us lonely. Contact. The excessive need for contact, or pushiness. We all have a need for human contact that varies according to our dispositions. When a weakness of character makes this need too strong, the effects are often the opposite of what we need. We push people away and become isolated. For issues with a craving for emotional relationships, use chicory. Chicory is useful when we want to cling too tight to those we love and push them away from us as a result. For contact issues due to a need for recognition, use heather. Heather helps us break the habit of trying to be the center of attention and using contact with other people as a means of self-projection. Contact problems, loneliness, isolation, inhibitions, partner problems. The secret to harmonious relationships lies in knowing the proper amount of distance to maintain and allowing for the interplay of commonalities that unite us and opposites that pull us apart. When we're compelled to share a limited space with someone with whom we are not compatible, the result is hostility. On the other hand, we may enjoy each other's company if we allow each other enough space. We each have our own limits and needs for distance. Some of us need constant companionship, while others prefer to be alone. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to a fear of openness, use agrimony. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to a fear of dirt and filth, use crabapple. Crabapple is indicated when an extreme need for cleanliness makes it impossible for us to be in contact with other people. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation that are due to an inferiority complex, use larch. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to depression, use mustard. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to a negative experience, use Star of Bethlehem. Star of Bethlehem helps us forget and come to terms with negative experiences and allows us to regain our trust in people. It is often used in combination with willow. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to keeping one's distance, use water violet. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to bitterness, use willow. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to a lack of openness, use agrimony and willow. For the extreme fear of contact, use agrimony and willow. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation caused by fears and anxieties, use aspen and willow. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation tinged with aggression, use holly and willow. For contact problems of loneliness and isolation due to an inferiority complex, use larch and willow. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to depression, use mustard and willow. For contact problems of loneliness and isolation due to a mental or emotional trauma, use Star of Bethlehem and willow. Contagion, protection against things like flu. As long as the body is engaged in the fight against harmful agents and pathogens, It is immune to the infection that these pathogens carry. An infection, the activation of contagion, is a sign that the body is occupied with detoxifying or repairing itself. When a contagion becomes active, we find ourselves in the parasympathetic healing phase. The best safeguards against infection are mental and emotional health, inner peace and optimism. An optimistic, happy person does not become ill. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to blood purification, use crabapple. For contact problems or loneliness and isolation due to a strengthening of defenses against negative influences, use walnut. Cowardice. Cowardice is a practiced form of fear. The term is normally used to belittle someone who tries to avoid danger. In doing this, we are judging others, which is always a mistake, and believe that everyone should act just as courageously in the same situation as we do. We forget, however, that we are all cowards in certain situations. Courage is not just the naive and thoughtless risking of life and limb, but the process of consciously overcoming fear. We can only be courageous if we are at first afraid. For cowardice due to fear, use aspen and mimulus. Aspen is used to treat vague fears, and mimulus is given for specific fears. Fears are often groundless and can be countered if we try to confront them consciously or with practiced experience. For cowardice due to a weak personality, use centaury. For cowardice due to feelings of stress and overwork, use hornbeam. For cowardice due to feelings of inferiority, use larch. For cowardice due to a negative experience, use Star of Bethlehem. Craving for food, anorexia. People who crave food suffer from severe frustration that usually stems from an unfilled or excessive need for love and happiness. Very often, childhood sexual abuse is a root cause of overeating. Eating provides oral gratification and is an attempt to compensate for the things that are lacking. When a craving for food is used for fears that are displaced by eating, use aspen and mimulus. When a craving for food is used for a strong, unfulfilled need for attention, use chicory. When a craving for food is used for dissatisfaction with oneself, use gentian, hornbeam, and larch. When a craving for food is used for contrariness and aggression, use holly. When a craving for food is used for severe frustration or unresolved psychic shock, use Star of Bethlehem. I have a great many videos now on many different topics, and so I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easy to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.